Welcome back to Shot and Shield. I am Scott, your host, and you can hit us on the Twitter at Shot and Shield. You can also check out the YouTube. Shot and Shield is the tagline, if you can find it. Good luck to you. Which I'll have some more about that in just a moment. And then you can also email us here, shotandshield@gmail.com. So I did have one email. The gentleman who emailed me didn't want me to tell his address and everything because he didn't want it to get out, I guess. I don't know. But I appreciate that. It's not like we have 5,000 listeners, boss. But I do appreciate the question. The question was, am I going to go over any of the field forces that I have developed for the Men Who Would Be Kings rule set in conjunction with the Great Game / Wars of the Silk Road, the Russian incursion to the steppe? And the answer is yes. And you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of that today in this episode, I should say. I want to talk a little bit about the Kashgari field force that I've developed for this rule set and for this game. It's actually just a really small little unit that I've started with the Kashgari. It's a Kashgari. It's Eastern. Is that right? Or Western? No, Western China. Far Western China, over by Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan and stuff like that. So it's over in that neck of the woods. On the other side of Mongolia. Okay, so it's all the way over there. So the Kashgari area was initially, it was just like another part of the Uzbek region. But Kashgari itself was founded by a Turk. Well, they call it a Turkic because of the language. But an Uzbek, his name was Yakub Bek, or Yakub Beg, depending on how you pronounce it. And it was very short-lived, maybe 20 years tops, maybe 15. He had all kinds of issues with the Chinese, also with Uzbeks and the other tribes in that region. And he wanted to create a state. I'm being very general in this, and I'm not a historian. I can only tell you what I've read. So the idea is that this field force is going to be fairly weak, also made up a lot of slaves, because a lot of Uzbeks didn't really want to fight for this guy Yakub Beg. At least that's what I read. So if there's some historian out there that wants to correct me, that's fine. I got you. Everything's good. So the field force I have is made up of 2 infantry units and a slave artillery unit. I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it up on YouTube. I'm going to take the pictures I have, put them up on YouTube, put them on the Twitter also, so you can see. Each of the infantry units is made up of 8 figures with rifles, a couple of musicians, and a standard bearer, and then the leader of the group. And then the artillery unit, it's a slave unit. So it's a big gun, which I scratch built from a bunch of different pieces and some wood shavings. So put that all together. So the artillery unit itself, the figures are made up of Wargame Foundry figures, the ever victorious Army Artillery Crew, and then a couple of other elements from that same Wargames Foundry, Taiping Rebellion in China. So I took the Chinese command, took that, put it all together with another figure from an Afghan unit, and created this slave. It's a slave gun. And so there's a guy with a whip, there's the guard, there's the guy in charge, and then there's the slaves who run the gun. So anyway, so that's kind of cool. The infantry unit is also made up of a Chinese command, but, and this is where people go, what? You did what? I took it's the Pike era, 16th and 17th century Renaissance Polish, and it's the musketeers or the drabants firing, and also of some infantry command to create those units. The one thing I like about 28 millimeter figures is that with a little carving and with a little putty, and some color usage, you can take some of these figures and turn them into something different. So here I've taken the musketeers and the drabants in the 16th century Polish Renaissance period with the color and with some a little bit of putty, all of a sudden, bam, they're considered almost like Western Chinese. I like the effect that it has. I hope you like the effect also. The thing with the Kashgaris, but also the Uzbeks in that region, they wear a lot of red. There's a lot of red that goes on in Central Asia. And so you can go ahead and if you throw some red overcoat on any of these figures with the right epaulets and the right paint job, boom, you can turn, like I did, Polish and Cossacks into Western Chinese. So it was a really good effect. I like the way it came out. And like I said, you can check it. You can check the pictures. I'll put the pictures on Twitter at Shot and Shield, and also I'll put this up on a piece of this up on YouTube with the pictures as well. And then I'll post that. I'll share that to Twitter as well. That way you can get to that page a little bit easier. So anyway, that's the first. This is the first installment of the Field Force building for my Wars of the Silk Road. So Kashgaris today. Have you noticed? I didn't put any cavalry. I did not put any cavalry. Any cavalry that would have been used by the Kashgaris would have also been used by other forces in Central Asia. So a lot of them looked very similar. A few of them didn't. So if I do need a cavalry unit, then I'll just grab the generic one that I used, the generic Central Asia horsemen that I would have used, or that I do use for different field forces. If I want to add a little oomph to their total point standard. Thanks for checking in. Thank you for joining me this morning or this afternoon or wherever you're listening or however you're listening to this podcast. Once again, my name's Scott. This is Shot and Shield. Hit us on Twitter at Shot and Shield. Also, you can check us out on the YouTube when you can find it. Good luck. And then email me, shotandshield@gmail.com. That's what I got. Catch you next time. Thank you.